only looking out for myself, but I always look out for the people around me as well too,
Mhm.
right? And so
Mhm.
I think the key point to answer your question, the key point is to have a goal in life.
Right.
You have to have a goal and you have to know what you want. And the key point is to never compare yourself with other people and say, you know what, I want to be, like Enoch. You can
Right.
use Enoch's, story and so on as a little bit of a motivation to kind of push you to say, you know what, if he did it, I can do it too.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
Same here. Same here.
Yeah. Well, um, how is the COVID there?
I didn't hear you. Say that again.
How is the situation of COVID there?
You're talking about COVID-19.
Yeah.
Where are you now?
I moved everything in the kitchen now, but
Oh,
because my internet is still here, so I decided to come and do it here.
oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, the COVID situation is still on. People have
Right.
to, right? People have to be careful.
Yep.
Yeah. Mhm.
Anyway, so let's start our discussion. It's been a while, and
Mhm.
I've attempted and I failed, but I think today it's today.
Today's today. That's right. We'll get it done today.
Right. So I'm gonna record it because this will be put on Pambazuka TV online. I hope you won't have any issue with it because we want to inspire those young ones and those
Of
adults who
course.
are there.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Well,
um, to
yeah. Go ahead.
begin
Go ahead.
with,
Mhm.
let me see here. All these will be cut off, so I'm trying to. Oh, actually, it's recording, I think, right?
It's recording. I can see it's
Okay.
recording. So you may have
All
to
right.
cut.
Okay. So, Dr. Narine, do you uh, mind to introduce ourselves? Because we have a lot of viewers who are following us. They want to know just, in nutshell about you. And then we will be able to share with our viewers, the actual, discussion that we want to share. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
All right. So for those of you who don't know me, I actually was born and raised in Guyana, South America, and I
Mhm.
migrated here in Canada way back in 1993. So it's been a little bit of a while, and
Right.
I moved to Kitchener. Kitchener is one of the cities in Ontario here, and I've stayed all my life in Kitchener, but I moved to 5 different places. So I moved from one
Wow.
location to the next,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
now it looks like I'm here for a little bit of a while, but I like Kitchener. Kitchener has
Yep.
grown over the years. And
Mm-hmm.
so I first of all love Kitchener, love Canada as a whole. And I
Yep.
mean, Canada is now my home. I have lots of experience in a lot of different pieces though, especially when it comes to employment and, working with immigrants, recent graduates and so forth. As a young child, I actually, have always been passionate about, and we'll talk more about that later on, but I've always been
Yep.
passionate about community work. I'm married and I have
Yep.
2 girls. One
Nice.
is 10 and one is 20 months old. So I have enough to kind of
Great.
to keep me busy. So that's a
Right.
little bit in a nutshell about me.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Narayan, and we are so glad to host you. And I want to say that welcome to Pambazuka TV Online. And I am your host, Enoch Noel. And I want again to thank those who follow us, who ask us the questions, who want to know what's going on. So once again, we encourage you to keep liking our videos, share our videos, and subscribe. That's the way you can help Pambazuka TV Online. So once again, this is Pambazuka TV Online, and I'm Enoch Noel. And to begin with, I wanted to uh, share with our viewers uh, what a great Dr. Narine is. What I'm not because Dr. Narine has achieved more than um, 200 awards, so locally, nationally, international. So we want to see And we can't be able to mention all of them, but we will mention a few, and we will have to make sure we put his number, phone number down, so that those who may want to talk more, or those who want to be inspired or to look for a role model, they may reach you. So as we know, Dr. Narine is a social worker by profession, and he owns a business, as he mentioned, Empower Employee, which aims to, to connect the employers and the employees, those who are maybe newcomers or those who are refugees, even the actual citizens of here. So he runs that business to empower or to connect those who are looking for a job. The great thing also is that Dr. Narine was among of the top 25 immigrants who received an award of top 25 immigrants who have achieved more than that other people may, because when we talk about more than 200 awards, they are a lot, but they are those which, inspire, those that, empower others, those that help others to move forward. So this top 25 RBC or Royal Bank, it's those, big banks which decide that, Dr. Narine has made a big difference. So he was among 25 top people in the entire Canada, I'm sure, if I'm not mistaken, in Canada.
That's correct.
Right? Right. So he was among the top 25, and I've seen there were thousands, but because of what he has, contributed towards to make this community better, that's why he was able to win this top 25 immigrants here in Canada back in 2013. And also, many people, they may ask me that, why do you call him a doctor that has like a, medicine background,
That's
or
right.
something like that. So for having been received more than 300 awards, he was also able to receive the honorary doctorate for human later, something like that, which, that's why those who receive such award, they are recognized as the doctors in, in human, to help developing, human or the better society in that way. Dr. Narine hosts Caribbean Spice FM or Spice Radio, which runs every Sunday. So we will also pin that down to make sure so that people can be able to follow him and know him in detail. I'm sure there are so many people who want to know about you, want to know how did he achieve this more than 300 awards? How is he one of the number one, the hold recorder for someone who has received, more awards in entire world. So we will make sure we give our viewers the right information to make sure they connect with you. So in a nutshell, Dr. Narine has achieved what a regular or a normal human can achieve. But as I'm talking now, I am, we are sharing like in entire world, because we have members in Africa, in Europe, in Australia, in UK, everywhere, here in Canada, in the US. And the reason why I want to concentrate on this, because many people may be in Africa, they are listening to us, they think, Dr. Narine, why? I know Dr. Narine contributed to build school in Uganda, in one of the refugee camps, actually where I live, the school in Kidea. He donated. Imagine someone having been, immigrated from Guyana in South America. I'm sure some people, may not know, but in South America, and donate, money to build a school to educate refugees, kids in refugee camp there. So all those made him a unique. That all those contribute to him to, get like more than 100 awards. For example, we have almost, I think, 1,500 families who immigrated from the Kangwa refugee settlement where Narine donated the money to buy iron sheets to build a school there, including one of the administration member of the school is in Texas. So I'm sure he will be able to know, yeah, I think, more than 100, more than 300 awards are great. Maybe there should be more recognition for him. Dr. Narine is a politician. I remember he campaigned for mayor position in the city of Kitchener, even though, he didn't win, but he's on a roll because, if we do something and we don't win, we don't give up. We need to push up because our time will come and everything will be all right. So Dr. Narine, as I mentioned, he's also one of our role model, one of our mentor. For example, I remember I got the award from Citizenship and Immigration. It was through him, mentoring, being mentored by a positive person like that, a role model like that, you see, it gets me somewhere. I've got a few awards, not, 100, but, not that I have not achieved like he did, but, he has a great potential to move, the younger people, not even adult, because when he connect, employers, employee, it's always, making a difference. So, Dr. Narine, you immigrated from Guyana when you were young, right?
That's correct.
Right now, you are in front of the camera of those younger people who immigrate from Asia, from Africa, from Guyana, like you, from Latin America, everywhere. What has motivated you to be like, I call it abnormal because more than 100 awards, having been, immigrated and having a great career, owning a business for, connecting employers with employees. Tell us, as an immigrant, how did you manage to achieve all of those?
Well, it's a very good question, by the way, and it's a very common question. Here in Canada, there's no question that there are lots of opportunities, no question about that. However, those opportunities are usually hidden, so they're not easily, visible where you and
Access,
I
right,
can
right,
just go and get them.
right.
And I mean, when I came in 1993, I, didn't know much about the process and so forth. So I had a little bit of a challenge in between in terms of the job pieces and so forth. But I have always been a motivated person, though, and I think that gave me a little bit of an advantage. I'm always motivated of wanting, a better life for myself, wanting to always, take things to the next level. I always challenge myself, and I think those are the
Mm-hmm.
things that keep me grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for example, I'm first generation to graduate from college and university. I have
Wow.
a 12 university degree, by the way. You probably don't know this,
Right.
and when and so there, I'm sharing this for a reason, by the way. And so when I graduated with my first one, it obviously made me feel very proud, very special, and I kind of break that barrier and say, you know what, I've done
Mm-hmm.
it,
Right.
especially here in Canada. So that
Yep.
kind of opened up a lot, the door for me. And then
Mm-hmm.
I kind of continue on, and I continue, and I find that when I was doing it, it really motivates me. It kind of really, um, inside, it gives me that extra energy where I
Yep.
always wanting more and wanting more. However, having said that, though,
Yep.
I always kind of have that balance of not only looking out for myself, but I always look out for the people around me as well too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I think the key point, to answer your question, the key point is to have a goal in life.
Right.
You have to have a goal and you have to know what you want. And the key point is to never compare yourself with other people and say, you know what, I want to be, like Enoch. You can
Right.
use Enoch's, story and so on as a little bit of a motivation to kind of push you to say, you know what, if he did it, I can do it too, or if I did it as Narayan, did it, you can do it too, but you do not want to compare yourself to anybody else. You kind of want to kind of figure out a little bit about you,
Yep.
find out about you based on the things you are good at. And once you find that out, then you kind of spend time and energy to kind of build on that. So that's what works for me. And I mean, now though, I'm at a point in life where, through the grace of God, as well, I always put God in front as well, and so through all of that, I consider myself a very brilliant person. I'm not
Right.
comparing myself to anybody else, but I'm knowledgeable enough where I can use all of those knowledge to do wonderful things. And so my
Mhm.
brain, I always keep thinking. Like I'm a thinker person. I always ask myself, what's next for me? Like I'm never satisfied, and this has nothing to do with being greedy. This is
Mhm.
more of me maximizing my potential. So I always ask myself, what's next for me? And so I keep going, because if I don't keep going to achieve things to the next level, I don't feel motivated. And so that's one of the reasons
No,
I
no,
keep
one
going.
more question. One more question is, so you say that you won't compare yourself, like maybe someone who has achieved this, I want to achieve. So are you trying to say that to those people who try to, to train us how to be rich, or, if Bill Gates is rich, we're going to train you how to be rich. Are you telling us we should avoid, looking at, what other people have achieved so that we can be able to achieve those too?
Well, usually those guys who are teaching you those things, and especially if there's money involved, they are doing it because they're making money off of it. They're
Right.
selling tapes, they're selling CDs, they're
Yep.
selling, they have package. So they have a way to kind of really get richer, kind of thing, so to speak, right?
Right.
So I think it's okay to listen to people. Listen is
Yep.
not wrong. Listening does not mean that you are agreeing, right?
Right.
Learning
Yep.
from somebody, I think, is always a great thing, but you cannot look at somebody and say, you know what, I want to be exactly like him. But you can grab some of the pieces that you're learning. So for example, I shared with you earlier that you really have to figure out the things that you are really good at. So let's say you're good with your hands,
Right.
and so on, and you start to recognize that, then you want to focus on that. Me, for example, I'm more, different, right? And I recognize the things I'm good at. So
Mhm.
once you figure out all of that, then nobody can stop you, because at the end of the day, do know that the only person who can stop you from achieving great things in your life is yourself, right? We all have 24 hours in the day. We all determine and decide how we want to spend our time and day. For me, every single day has to be productive. I research every single day,
Right.
right? When people are saying to me they're very bored, they don't know what to do because of the pandemic and they're bored, I do not get it. Because how can you be bored, right? When you can utilize your time to do so much things, especially here in North America, because, we have not too much of a bad system here, right?
Yeah, but one more question there. You mentioned that, I can't do anything. For example, I know some of the small businesses, they are closed up to end of May or May 20th or something.
Mm.
So if a person like that, or in a pandemic like this, if you say, you won't agree with someone who say, oh, he's poor because pandemic is there. And you well know that we are limited, to access or to go somewhere. Don't you think that that person might have an excuse to say, "Oh, I'm poor because maybe my job stopped, or maybe I remember I went in some few big shops around here. Some of the area you can't access anything because they are not. They say they are not necessary.
Yes, yes, it's not
So
essential.
like
Yeah.
if someone like is there and is watching you, and for you say no, there is no excuse, why would you tell him or why would you tell her?
That's it's a good question. So keep in mind, in life, sometimes there are certain things we don't have control of. I
Right.
personally have been in very challenging situation as well too, like
Mhm.
different kinds of situation. If wasn't for those challenging situation, I would have not been as successful as I am. And I'm sharing with you openly here,
Right.
because of this pandemic, I'm more
Mhm.
successful now than I was before.
Oh.
And
And
I'm
so
talking about
can you, yeah, tell us, because we are looking your mentorship, we are looking your advice, and you need to share with us
yeah.
your skills so that you can be able to apply them too.
You know, like for example, and you talk about some places are closing down, like the small one and so on. You're
Right.
right. Let's say you have a small business who is not doing so well now because of the pandemic. They are not able to open all the hours like they used to. Let's say that.
Mhm.
Let's say they have run that business for 10, 15 years. The way I see it, keep in mind, this is a pandemic. This is a serious, major stuff. We have to accept that. We have
Yep.
to be thankful that we are still alive and we still
Yep.
have a chance to live. We have to look at life that way. So let's say you have a small business, you realize it's not doing well. Maybe it is an opportunity for them to do something different. Like right now, the government is giving away grants. They're giving away money so that people can get back on their feet. They just have to know how, like, school is free. Think
Right. I'm
about it.
sure someone is there watching. So make sure you connect with Dr. Narine. He's going to be able to open you some
Abs-
opportunity there.
Absolutely. Like some people, because of the support that they got from the government here, like think about it. Some
Mhm.
businesses, they got like some small businesses that I know that I help personally, by the way, that
Right.
got 60,000 Canadian dollars. And they, if they pay back that money within
Yep.
2 years, they only have to pay back $40,000. So they can get that $20,000 to assist with that small business. Their
Oh.
courses here in here in Ontario and in other
Mhm.
parts in Canada too, the
Yep.
government is paying free, cover cost 100%, so that people can go and retrain because they know that the economy is, is a little bit weak in certain areas. And so now for people who never had an opportunity to go to college and university and so on because of money and time and all of that, maybe now is an opportunity. It does not matter if you had a business for 10, 15 years. Be thankful that you had it, but do accept the fact that time have changed and move on to something else, a different time now. Me, for example,
Mhm.
I'm a social worker. I'm a registered social worker here in
Right.
Ontario, Canada.
Yep.
But I partner with a couple of folks and we are working on an IT project, right?
Nice.
Right. And so I'm not an IT person,
Yep.
but we recognize that technology is changing the world, right? And
Right.
so
Yeah, that's
we work,
true.
right? And so
Yep.
we are sharing our resources and we are working on something, and more information will be coming up eventually. But so all of
Mhm.
that, so we're taking, every opportunity, and you have to be a little bit of a risk taker, right? Being able, you cannot be too comfortable in that box and say, you know what, I'm going to go to work. I have a job. I work toward 5 to 40 hours a week. When you work, right, you're basically giving your time and soul to the employer. So the third and fourth option should be finding a job. The other option should be what can you do with your resources and your skills and so on. And if you cannot do anything with it, right,
Mhm.
then you can go start looking for a job. But once you start looking for a job and have a job, you're dedicating your life and everything else to
Yep.
somebody else. And I don't intend to do that.
You're
Right.
right. Back there, actually, when you work for someone, you're gonna be a middle class or you're gonna be poor. Actually, someone is advancing. That's why I think I do agree with your way of thinking or a way of planning. Because for example, me, somewhere, you just you are there. You are paying your rent. You are paying your bills, but that's the end of everything. So I
Mhm.
think your idea, your thought, and the way you think it's the way of life forward. So, like as we mentioned, as an immigrant, as an immigrant from South America, the younger one, especially because we younger people, we normally get in trouble, drugs, homelessness, you know, high employment,
Mhm.
a culture shock, and so forth. You shared with us, in nutshells, what would you tell those younger ones? Some of them, they believe that way life takes them, because we have some of friends, relatives who are, the culture shock and then end up in something else. What message can you send to those? Because most of people who follow us, they are young, and they just want to hear what was the cultural shock and how can they protect themselves from, getting or participating in, in something which may put them in a risk or in danger.
Yes, for sure. So the cultural shock is very normal. I mean, I had a cultural shock when I came to Canada. I
Yeah,
was extremely happy when I realized that I would be coming to Canada. That was a beautiful thing for me. I
right.
felt lucky and I felt privileged and all of that. But when I landed here in Canada and knowing that I wouldn't get to see my friend like I used to,
That's
and
true.
it
Yeah.
does not matter
Hmm.
what
Hmm.
little we had, it's your story, it is your journey, right? There was a lot of happiness there. We were playing on the street, in the street, in the villages and on the
Right.
streets and so on. And so
Hmm.
those were all precious good times. So when you come here, it was a little bit different. I was a
Yep.
teenager still when I came here, believe it or not. So I went back to high school for 1 year.
Yep.
um, but for me, you have to know what you want in life, and you have to make sure that you're not allowing anything to get in your way.
Right.
I'm very disciplined, and I mean, I'm not telling people how to live their life or anything. I know in Canada here, especially in North America, people
Yep.
have the freedom to make choices, or in general rather, people have that, that choice, freedom, so to speak.
Hmm.
But I
Hmm.
always try to make choices that wouldn't affect me. So for example, and I'm not condemning anybody here, but me personally, I never use drugs, not even one time.
Right.
So if somebody's with me using a variety of different drugs, I wouldn't
Yep.
even know all the details of it because I don't have knowledge of it, because I was never involved in it.
Right.
I've known of people though who really damage their life
Yep.
because of drugs.
Yep.
Good people that I know, they follow the wrong people, and
Hmm.
there's a difference between using something and abusing something, right?
True.
And just like if people drinking casually, let's say
Hmm.
alcohol, I'm talking about it. Let's say people drink a beer once a year. I mean, this is just an example,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Right.
Right? Or champagne and so on once in a while if you're having like a family gathering and so on. But let's say if you're using it because you're so addicted, or get to the point where you are addicted and so on. Because I've worked with people who are addicted, it is
Yep.
extremely difficult. It's
Yeah.
your life becomes really, you depend on so many people to really spend their time behind you, and you're not getting anywhere because you always want more and more of it, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Right, and so on, because it's not an easy to get out of it, you really right. So I will
Yep.
encourage people, those things are accessible. I will encourage you, there's so many different things out there. Don't be fooled by people, and don't be pressured by, there might be peer pressure, people might
Peer
encourage
pressure.
you,
Yeah. Right.
you
Right.
give it a try and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And I went to places, I went to the States and so on, and people were offer me to use it, right, even friends. And
Yeah.
I told them next time, right? And so that was
Yeah.
my way to kind of kind of
Hmm.
think. But again, we are not condemning anybody here who are using it. What we're saying is that you want to make sure that you don't let anything really affect you and your life to really do the things you want to do. Because once you become addicted at anything, you
Hmm.
are gonna shut your life off there. You're gonna put not only your life on hold, but a family life on hold, and a
Right.
lot of different things, and a whole community.
Right, right. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Narine. The before we end this, there is one more question. I know, having been achieved all of those, and having been, become successful in career, and in all of those, I'm sure there have some people who have been, encouraging you, maybe friends, or maybe neighbors, or maybe many, as you are recognized national, locally, national, international. So, what can you say about, those people? I'm sure, having been reached there, I know there have been a lot of struggles, ups and downs. But having been reached there, what would you say about those people? Those who helped you to. I know it's a person himself or herself to say that I want this, I'm gonna go there. But after that, there are some people who comes, some to push you back, some to say go forward, keep going. What would you say, about those people like those?
Yeah, so none of us can achieve things on our own,
Right.
right? We may be the main force,
Yep.
to kind of do things, but there's always helping hand behind the scene. There's always people who, kind of help along to make it work. So, for
Mhm.
example, like right now, I'm trying to do something, and in order for me to be successful at it, I
Right.
need a few people to kind of really recommend me for it. And so I need to reach out to the people who normally support me and who
Mhm.
believe that I have the capability to do it and so on. And those people includes, former employers, like the good ones, even former professors, friends, and things of that kind. I mean,
Right.
there are few people,
Yep.
I have lots of friends and so on, but there are a few people who really I keep in touch with them for a variety of different reasons because I myself see potential in them. You are a
Mhm.
good example. I mean, we have met at, I believe, some sort of an award celebration or something of that kind in Cambridge
Oh
or
yeah, many
YMCA,
times.
right?
Right.
Right. And then
Mhm.
after that, when we touch a base, because you and I share the same kind of values,
Mhm.
we always do things not only for ourselves, but we always
Yep.
do things for people, the community, and so on. And I
Right.
mean, there's a reason why we award you as well, you, in more than one ways,
Mhm.
because that's what we were able to do for you. So I think, though we might not able to say that many times, but I think when I do things like that, it is my way to say thank you as well, because through whatever you may have done for me in between, really allow me to achieve some sort of success as well too. And it is
Yep.
my way to kind of pay it forward as well, and you're
Right.
going to see more of that. We are going to do more awarding shows and so on, because we it is one way to kind of give back. It is, it's a really good way to give back. But there are a lot of people there's so many different people. But one thing I have to say though is that the motive, because you're going to have people to push you and wanting to do well, but
Yep.
you as an individual have to have that motivation of wanting to do it as well too, right?
Right. Right.
So having a motivation and support makes it easy. I mean, there's nothing better than doing something, have the support. Even when I ran as an independent, that was
Mhm.
one of the most difficult thing to do,
I
right?
know.
I
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
only one in the region Waterloo who have done it. Nobody's ever done it here. First
Right.
person.
Yep.
So you cannot compare apple and oranges, right? And so the fact that I was the only one who ran in that category, I won in my own way because there was absolutely nobody else
Mhm.
in that category. And so and having people do bits and pieces really kind of thing. And through that, now I've gotten lots of different opportunity. But have I
Mhm.
not run as an independent, I would have lose out from getting good opportunity. So I'm getting good opportunity because of what I've done.
Right. So once again, Dr. Narine, we want to end our interview here, but we will again invite you in the future so that we can expand, you know, our interview so that people can know that there is someone who has achieved great, who can be a mentor, who can, help in one way or another. Once again, we wanted to say thank you for your time and thank you for having been given us an opportunity to have this short interview with you. Once again, this was Pamazuka TV Online. My name is Enoch Noel, and I was with Dr. Narine Sookram. So once again, thank you, and we'll keep you updated if there's anything comes up. Okay, and thank you so much, and have a good evening. Okay.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate
Okay.
it.
Bye.